Turning now to history being made in the UK, King Charles leading his first ever Trooping the Colour as monarch. The royal family yet again proving to the world they can put on a really spectacular show as well.
Taking to the balcony at Buckingham Palace, the Wales children, George, Charlotte and little Louis, as always, stealing the spotlight. The young prince definitely understood his assignment, giving the people what they want before saluting his grandfather's army.
Wrapping up, of course, what would no doubt be an emotional day for the Windsors, the first Trooping the Colour since Queen Elizabeth's passing.
9 Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey is on the Mall for us this morning. Edward, the crowds loved it.
There was a big crowd there to watch King Charles take part in his first Trooping the Colour since becoming monarch. First for him, but also the first time a monarch has ridden horseback in the parade. He left Buckingham Palace, rode down the Mall, leading other senior royals, son William, siblings Prince Edward and Princess Anne. Following close behind in the royal carriage, there was Queen Camilla, Kate, the Princess of Wales, and the 3 children. Now, if you like a bit of pomp, 2023 is your year. Similar to the coronation, thousands lined the Mall as the procession made the way to Horse Guards. 1,400 soldiers were involved, 400 musicians and some 200 horses. At Horse Guards, for the actual trooping, the 74-year-old king inspected the soldiers as they stood in formation, and those who had gathered there today were keen to be part of history.
It's just so British and so patriotic, and it just gives you a really good vibe to be here, really positive and uplifting.
The most I loved is watching the kids when they waved to everybody. King, yes. Camilla, yes. I just love William and Kate. I love them all.
I liked all of it.
Everyone's happy. It's been a really good day.
The part that many had been waiting for happened once they got back to Buckingham Palace, the big fly-past. More than 70 aircraft involved, everything from helicopters to Hercules aircraft, fighter jets and even the Red Arrows. And there was a surprise for the King with the Typhoon fighter jets flying in formation, spelling out his initials CR. As always, as you mentioned, Louis stole the show at times with some funny faces and some gestures, seemingly not interested at all in royal protocols. We do love that. And guys, if you can't get away with that during the King's birthday parade, I don't know when you can.
He's the best, Edward. Thank you so much.
Well, thousands of people have lined the Mall in London on Saturday to catch a glimpse of King Charles in the first Trooping the Colour of his reign. The new monarch rode horseback in the parade, which marks the British monarch's official birthday.
Let's bring in the royal editor for the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers. Russell, good morning. A spectacular display of pomp and pageantry. What was the highlight for you?
Well, good morning. Well, there are so many highlights to choose from. I mean, a totally different affair to what we've been used to because the sun was shining this year. A fantastic display of pomp and pageantry. And if anyone had told you, that we're sick of seeing the royals or this pomp and pageantry and the celebrations that have gone on over the last couple of years, then, think again, because this was Britain at its best, and all the soldiers taking part, trained for this for months and months, and it went off without a hitch. I mean, so many highlights. We had Prince Louis on the balcony once again, smiling to the crowd, bit of a thumbs up moment. The women looking absolutely resplendent in their individual outfits, and the Wales children on form once again. So top marks all around.
And we did see King Charles leading the parade on horseback. Tell us about the significance of that.
Well, it's interesting because this is more than 30 years since a monarch took to, the Trooping the Colour on horseback. And it was back in 1986 that the late Queen rode her last ride for trooping. And for Charles to do this, I mean, his horse was a bit naughty at times, a little horse gifted by the Canadians called Noble. And again, fair play to him because he was leading the troops out there today and supported by other members of the royal family. We saw William on a horse, Anne on a horse, and Edward for the first time as well.
In terms of the palace balcony itself, Russ, it was pared back yet again. Which royals actually attended the celebrations?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're sort of used to this a little bit now, but it is sort of interesting to see who is on the balcony. And once again, the King decided just working royals, so that's obviously himself, Camilla, the Waleses. We saw Princess Anne up there as well. And, maybe the little-known royals, the Duke of Gloucester and the Duke of Kent was still out there as well. And, I think we got used to this now, haven't we? Because a slimmed-down monarchy is what the King wanted, and it's what we've got.
And how good does Kate look in that green outfit and that green hat? I'm just going to put that one out there quietly. We're not seeing Prince Harry or Meghan on the balcony. We're told it's the first time in his life that Prince Harry wasn't even invited. I asked this question probably knowing the answer, but do we know why?
Well, I think there are probably a few reasons as to why he wasn't invited. I mean, this saga is long running, isn't it? We weren't used to, or we weren't expecting them at all. But Prince Harry, after his Netflix series, the book, of course, that we're still talking about. I think the issues between these families have been long discussed, and I think there probably needs to be a bit of a distance between them until they're back on track. And I can't see it anytime soon.
Also involving Harry and Meghan, a Spotify exec overnight has slammed them. What did he say? What's this about?
Well, it's interesting because the big Spotify deal that Harry and Meghan had, up to $25 million. Little was produced in the way of original content. We had Meghan's Archetypes program that kind of hit #1, but I think that was a bit of people curious as to see what it would be. But no second series. And one of the executives has basically called them grifters. I mean, it's a slang that has been used and sort of shot at them. I think they've got to try and make a bit of a back step and see where their next move is after this.
He did have another word in front of grifters, but it's one that we can't say on breakfast television
give it a
at
go.
all. Didn't you, Russell? Russell Myers from the Daily Mirror, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks very much.
And there is a new twist in the saga surrounding Harry and Meghan and their dumped Spotify deal. One of the music service's bosses unleashing on the pair in a podcast of his own.
US correspondent Alison Petrowski is following this story for us today. Ali, he certainly didn't mince his words.
Yeah, that's right, Clint. Good morning to you. Bill Simmons is arguably the king of sports podcasting. He's also now a Spotify executive. And guys, he is not a fan of Harry and Meghan. He has come out swinging on his own podcast overnight, and it comes just days after Spotify and Harry and Meghan announced jointly that they were parting ways. So let's hear what Bill Simmons had to say.
I wish I'd been involved in the Meghan and Harry leave Spotify negotiation. The grifters. That's the podcast we should have launched with them. I got to get drunk one night and tell the story of the Zoom I had with Harry to try to help him with a podcast idea. Do it. It's one of my best stories.
I think we would all like to hear that story from Bill Simmons, guys. Now, Harry and Meghan, as part of their deal, were supposed to release a series of podcasts for an eye-watering 15 to 25 million. That's US dollars. We're not quite sure of the exact amount, but, roughly between 20 million Australian and 30 million Australian. Instead, Meghan Markle released just one series called Archetypes, telling interesting and diverse stories, and included some of her friends, Paris Hilton, Mindy Kaling, Trevor Noah, Mariah Carey, to name a few. And there were only 12 episodes. So look, it's not clear if it's the lack of content is the reason why they have parted ways. But as you can tell, Bill Simmons is not a fan. Clearly, there's something going on there at Spotify. And this is not a good look for a couple who is certainly eyeing off other media deals in the future. So this is just another Sussex split in the headlines today, guys.
Few choice words there.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Ali.
Thanks, Ali.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my God. Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?
Always happens.